In this video, we're going to start diving right into niche research. Now, we've already created our file that's going to, we're going to start populating, we're going to start filling up as we go through. So this is the very first stage. The very first stage, sort of trying to, don't necessarily in this stage try to nail down one particular niche. We want to do that by the time we get to the end of this entire module. But for this one, we want to just sort of come up with some niche ideas. So, things to consider when we're thinking about niches. So, think of niche, try to consider niches. If straight off the bat you can see that the products in that niche are going to be under $200, then just probably move on and think about something else as soon as you start to think about it. So consider niches that have got plenty of products that are over $200, ideally hovering around the $1,000 mark. There's not a limit as such. I talked in the last video about how there is a bit of a limit, and I suppose there is if we're talking tens of thousands, but products that anybody can buy online and then can have shipped to them these days is, the sky really is the limit almost. So then we're going to use magazines.com, which is just a website that basically the general gist is if there's a magazine about it, then there's generally a niche with it, and people are spending money and people are interested and passionate about it enough to be able to buy products online. We also use alexa.com/top sites, which is basically a list of the top sites around the internet, but it's great because it lists them in categories, so it gives you niches and then sub niches within that. So for example, it might show you something like martial arts, and then it might have the top websites in every martial art, so karate, kung fu, whatever the case may be. Then we want to create a large list of potential niches and create a larger list of sub niches within those niches. Now this is just as far as you want to go with it really. I would, if you're brand new to this, I would recommend spending a lot of time on research, this whole week at least. And if you want to be a week behind in the course, that's completely fine. Spend a lot of time in this. Use this time. We've got to take action at some point, but use this time to create a big list of things that you can look into deeper, and then at the end come to a determination on which is the best to go with. Don't just get settled on one straight away and try to make that work. Don't get emotionally attached to any one particular niche. We're going to use Amazon and AliExpress. Again, I said in some of the copy, the sales page for this product, that we don't use AliExpress like everybody else. Everybody else uses AliExpress to find the specific products that they're going to go and then sell. We use it to sort of more validate that there are products available in that niche, and sometimes use them as backup products for our main products. So we want to use Amazon and AliExpress for our basic products, and again, as I go further into this module, I'm going to teach you to use Amazon in some more interesting ways. So then also print on demand. I know again I talked about how we don't just get a t-shirt or a mug or a hat or whatever and slap a rubbish design on it and try it, but it is good to be able to have these products as backup products to our main products. So when we're basically teaching almost teaching doubt, if you like. We're on the corner preaching doubt. We're saying try everything. Focus on your big products, but don't be pigeonholed into any one particular thing. So let's head over the shoulder and we will run through some examples of all this in practice. Okay, so here we are. So what we want to do is we want to be going through some of the websites. I've made some notes over here to make sure that I don't. So we're going to look for niches. Well, so there's two things we want. We want our, this is our, so we're looking for niches and then sub niches. So if I just give you some examples of how you would go about finding these. So let's go for magazines.com first of all to start with. Let's open up some others as well. So magazines.com, alexa.com/top sites. What else were we going to be looking at? AliExpress, Amazon, and then looking through some of the print on demand. So Amazon.com. again, this will totally depend on where you are in the world. Now, the things to remember when you're doing this is we're going to be drop shipping these products. We're going to be not going to be stocking products. We may teach that down the line. We do that. We will in fact teach in this course. Once you get in seeing some success with drop shipping products, to private label your own products, because they're much higher margins in working with your own products. And if it's possible, there's minimum order quantities and things like that, so it's one for down the line. But in this instance, you may be, depending on what country in the world you're in, the suppliers that we're going to go to may or may not be used to drop shipping. We're going to cover that. Some suppliers might, it's actually in their interest for them to drop ship products for you. Because you don't want any credit terms. You're going to make a sale and then you're going to pay for that product. So we use Amazon and we use AliExpress for inspiration that there are products available, and some idea that there's lots of products available in those niches. So let us, okay, so here we go. So we'll go magazines.com first. So let's have a quick look at my notes. So our website's what will be branded around our overall niche, as I talked about. So for example, again, we have discussed that we're going to be building a food website here, and then there's sub niches within that. But this will give you some examples of how to find those top level niches and how to find the niches in between them. So if I just start with Alexa, let's go look at category. Now, everything here would in general be a niche, maybe not, maybe one level down. So these kind of things, these ones here in health, would probably be our so for example, fitness would be our top level niche. So our top level niche would be, so let's just start this. So fitness. So a health and fitness website we would be creating, but we would have to launch one set of products to start with. So the one set of products that we would look to start would be a sub niche. So for example, when we click fitness in here, these are all our sub niches within that. So for example, gym would be one, gym equipment. Now this is not such a great example, but I think you get what I mean when you're talking about so fitness being the overall niche in that. Let me see if I can, and what I'm looking for is things like a sub niche of fitness, for example, would be yoga, that kind of thing, or muscle building, or fat loss, or this kind of thing, and then those would be sub niches within it. So let's look at a different example. Let's look at men's health, for example, and see what we come up with there. Not so many in there. Let's look at am I in? Okay, so here we go. Looking at it's probably because I went in. So sports. So sports might be could be our initial niche, and as so we might be creating a sports website, and then the niches in that might be baseball, basketball, bowling. You get the idea. And then you may also go one level down. You may also go, boxing's a bad example because there are no real example. Let's have a look for baseball. No. Motorsports. So you get what I'm saying. There are multiple. So your website may be motorsports, and then your sub niches within that may be snowmobile racing, maybe motorcycle racing, maybe car racing, maybe Formula One, maybe that kind of thing. Again, you may be looking at let's look at the martial arts example that I used. Okay, so martial arts. So we're creating a martial arts. So let's say sports would be too vague for that, so we'll go martial arts. Bear in mind I'm doing this on the fly, this is exactly how you would be doing it as well. So martial arts, and then our sub niches would be, as we can see from the list. So I couldn't have picked a worse one to try and spell for that one. So, and then obviously you've got the karate, and you've got the kung fu, and you've got, you know, MMA. Now, then you'd also need to take that one step further and consider, okay, are there going to be products that are likely to be in that niche that are and the way we do that is we go karate equipment, something like this, and then we go down to, yeah, so the price is, so there's not very many to start with in that. So we'll be looking at that and going, the products in that niche are just not, you know, not. So this is the process you'll go through. You'll go through this exact process. But let's look at, say, boxing, for example, because we might have some more expensive equipment in that. So boxing equipment. See, what I'm looking for down the side here is quite often there are, let's have a look at punching bags. See how down the side here it says $200 and above. Then what we want to do is we want to be looking for if there are many products over our $200 price range available. So that again gives us a pretty good, there's $200 products on Amazon that are available that are over $200. This is the sort of rough idea of what you want to be doing, and you want to be then taking your list and wiping ones out that you know are not going to be okay. So I'm going to put that in the same bracket. So what we've basically discovered is, now MMA would come under the same thing as boxing, I would imagine. So we'll go MMA, we'll go boxing, and let's have another look here. So we'll go MMA equipment, $200 and above, only 78. So there are some products in there, which is mostly punching bags, as you can see. So a punching bag website would potentially be one that we could possibly go for. Again, at this stage, you're just looking for ideas. You want to fill this up. Just get to this stage. Get to the stage of looking for, are there products, lots of products available that are in that price range. So you know, you can see here that there are lots of products available. There are lots of products. So we'd know that creating something that was we were going to do much more validation later. I'm going to run through this exact system that I'm showing you here now in much more detail, but this is just to give you an idea of whether it's worth even writing down on the list. So we do that for Alexa, we do that for magazines. Again, we want to go categories. All of these here are potential niches with sub-niches in between them. So hobbies. So we want to go hobbies. Arts and crafts would potentially be one. And then all of these here, woodworking, knitting. You could create an arts and crafts website with, so again on your list, your niche would be arts and crafts. Your niches would be knitting, and again, when you get to the product point, just double check that there are some products available that are in that price range, and if there are, it's worth going on the list at least, and then you can narrow it down later as we progress through the course, because there's a lot of other steps that we've got to go through to be able to get to the point of are there products available, and can we drop ship those products? There are a lot of questions we've got to ask. This is just our initial, you know, to get a good list here of niches and sub-niches within that niche that give us some ideas of things that we can go after. So you want to be doing this yourself. You want to be going for, again, let's go categories, let's go sports and recreation. Again, all of these, so fishing, golf, aviation, boats, these are all potential niches with sub-niches below them. So golf would be one, definitely. Hunting and fishing would definitely be one. And then we want to go and we want to come here and we want to just check, are there products, are there lots of products? That's because it's in punching bags. Over 100,000 hunting equipment. We want to go down it, so we want to go hunting equipment. $200. Again, I'm going to show you this in more detail in the next one, but there's over 6,000 results, so that's be a good one for the next video. I'm going to, for this example, I know that I'm sticking on food, so what I'm going to do when I get off this video is I'm going to just fill this out and get to the point. I know that I've got a whole load of things that I can put in here that come under the food category. There's loads of things. We're going to also to look into your print on demand. So there are some websites like Tune2. There are lots of others as well that we're going to go in much more detail. But you know, you've got the if you go to Google and just go print on demand. Again, all these are in our other course. You know, you can look at, for example, what are some of the ones called now? We've got this Tune2. Sorry, this Tune2 is actually Tune2.ie, I believe, is the. So these do all kinds of products, and all these things can be, you know, have designs put on them that just back up your main products. And it's just about looking, are there things that fit in with what you're doing? You know, it's not so much about, like I say, it's not so much about narrowing in on one thing and sticking to it. It's about checking out, are there things available, and then furthering your research later. So go away, start to fill out this your sheet here with several niches, several sub niches within each one, and just have a quick look on Amazon that there are definitely going to be products in there. And in the next video I'm going to go into niche validation in much more detail, so checking suppliers, checking Amazon again, giving you some sort of criteria to follow on whether it's a goer. But for now, just do yourself a big list, and that list, even if we work out later that we can't use one of them, it's no big deal. You've got the list there, you can narrow it down, and you'll end up with one, probably many more that you can actually go with and make websites. So thanks a lot for watching this video. My name's Simon Greenhalgh, and I'll see you in the next video.